Hello guys and welcome back to Planet 40k Tyranids. We've got another unit review for you today. One of the monsters within the index. This time we're looking at the winged Hive Tyrant. So of course we're going to be going through the data sheet. You know what we're doing now. And we're going to give a Planet 40k rating at the end of the video. So let's flip this card to the rear side of the data card. We've got a 195 point model. Used to be 230 points I believe. And then you add all the war gear on top of that. So yeah, it's cheaper. It's cheaper. Now, in comparison to the Hive Tyrant, which is 220, and Swarm Lord, which is 250, it is the cheaper option out of the three, even though it has the quickest movement in terms of the movement and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get onto that. We're kind of jumping the gun. Now, notice on the right side of the data card, it does not have the leader keyword or the leader ability. So it's not going to be leading Tyrant Guard, for example. So yeah, no Tyrant Guard for you. And what has it got? It's equipped with the monstrous bone sword and lash whip, as well as the Tyrant Talent. Now there are options to swap out the bone sword and lash whip for one of the following: a heavy venom cannon, a stranglethorn cannon, or a monstrous silent talons, or set of them. But again, we'll go over that in a moment. So let's flip this bad boy over, and we're going to check out the statistics to begin. So this guy is much slower. He used to work at 16 inches, now it's only 12 inches, and I mean, we've got the fly keyword at the bottom, but this edition, it has been nerfed. You've now got to measure diagonally. So when you've got 12 and fly instead of 16 and the old version of fly, he is much less of a threat in terms of, well, damage, in terms of getting into places, getting behind ruins. He's not getting there as often as he used to. The toughness, however, has gone up because it's a monster, toughness 9. I say that's a good thing, but really it's still not tough enough. The other units, the other models are toughness 10, toughness 11. So toughness 9 is lacking or lagging behind from the other units. The save, however, has gone up. 2+ armor save, it used to be a 3+. Wounds has gone down to 10, used to be 12. Leadership 7, objective control is 3. 3 is whatever, right? It's okay-ish. He does have a 4+ invulnerable save to add to his 2+ armor save, so 2+, 4+ is okay. There are ways to put a Fear No Pain save on him, of course. We'll go over that as well in a bit. So let's look at the war gear to start us off with. The war gear that he comes equipped with is what we're going to talk about first, which is the monstrous bone sword and lash whip and the Tyrant Talons. So let's talk about those two to begin. So the bone sword and lash whip are twin linked now. You used to be able to re-roll hit rolls over 1, I believe. Now you're re-rolling all your wound rolls. You have got 6 attacks, it used to be 5, nice. Weapon skill 2+, the strength has gone down to 9, the AP has gone down to -2, and a 3 damage. So it's okay, Strength 9, -2, AP 3 damage. It's sort of matching what the other Tyrants are doing. And you're re-rolling as well, so that's okay, Now the Tyrant Talons, you've only really got this in case you do swap out the monstrous bone sword and lash whip for one of the range weapons, because you have to choose either the bone sword and lash whip or the Tyrant Talons to fight in the fight phase. You're not fighting with both. So I'll go through it anyway. You've only got 5 attacks, weapon skill 2+, strength 7, -2 AP, and it's gone up to 2 damage at least. But again, why would you select the Tyrant Talons when you've got the monstrous bone sword and lash whip, which gives you an extra attack, better strength, and more damage? You're only going to select the Tyrant Talons with ranged weaponry. So that's what you've got as stock. And let's have a look at the rest of these weapons. So you've got the option of the heavy venom cannon. So you're swapping out your monstrous bone sword and lash whip for the heavy venom cannon. 36-inch range attacks has only gone down to D3. It used to be a flat 3. D3 kind of stinks. Ballistic skill 2+, strength 9, -2 AP, and the damage has gone down to 3. It used to be 4. It used to be quite tasty. I don't rate the weapon this edition. It does have the blast keyword, so it is helpful. But, I mean, what is it doing? It maybe kills some Terminators, but when you've got D3 shots with it, it's not... You've got to hit with it. Yep, it's a 2+. You've then got to wound with it. Then you've got to get through the invulnerable save to remove stuff. I'm not that keen, and I'm not that impressed with the damage, or the attack, being D3 rather than 3. That's the first option. The second option, I think, is a better option. The Stranglethorn Cannon. It's still got the blast keyword, so that's not a new addition. 36-inch range. D6 +1. Now, that's a bit janky. It used to be D3 +3, so it used to be a minimum of 4, maybe 6. Okay, you can get 7 now, but D6, it's, you know, I just don't like that D6 in there. Weapon skill 2, or ballistic skill 2+, strength has gone down to 7, the AP's gone down to -1, and 2 damage with the blast keyword as well. I think that's the better option. You're going to get more shots with it. You're likely wounded on 3s in the same way as with the heavy venom cannon. If you want to target monsters and vehicles, you're probably not going to... Strength 9 probably doesn't do it this edition. So you're going to be wounded on 3s anyway. -1 AP against in-1 saves. Yeah, it would be better if it was -2. In damage 2. Against Terminators, it's no good. Against standard Incessors, it's better. It's better. You've then got the monstrous Scything Talons. So if you're getting rid of the Bone Sword and Lash Whip, of course you're going to be fighting with the Tyrant Talons, but these are extra attacks, these Scything Talons. So you get 4 extra attacks, Web Skill 2+, Strength 7, -2 AP, 2 damage. It's okay, it's not the worst. I mean, if you compare it to the monstrous Bone Sword and Lash Whip, you're losing Twin Linked, you're losing 2 attacks, your strength goes down to 7 from 10, the AP and is the same, and the damage goes down by 1. So why would you? To be honest with you, why would you? I'm going to double check that again, because that just does not seem right at all, does it? I mean, the only reason you really are doing that is because you're going to have a combined total of 5 attacks with the Tyrant Talons and then 4 attacks with the Scything Talons, making 9. Yeah, you're just getting more attacks in melee, I guess. I think I'd rather have one of the ranged weapons in there, but, you know, up to you, I guess. It's up to you. Now, let's move over to the ability side of the data card on the right. We've got Deadly Demise D3 on an explosion. If you roll a 6, you're going to do mortal wounds within 6 inches, D3 mortal wounds, and he's also got Deep Strike, which is quite useful-ish. I say ish because, well, he's going in solo. You know, he's not a lone operative, he's not got the leader keyword, so he's literally going to have to do everything on his own. Likely going to get targeted, there's Overwatch, there's all sorts of things that could damage him, but there are ways of actually playing him, and we'll get onto that in the synergy section. Shadow in the Warp, because he's with the Synapse monster, and he's got Synapse of course as well. So he's always going to be within Synapse, within his own aura. So that's going to help with Battle Shock and also the Shadow in the Warp to produce Battle Shock once a game. But that could be done with any of your Synapse monsters and units. This is one of them potentially. Now the 2 unique abilities, well, one isn't unique because someone else has got it, but Will of the Hive Mind, same as the Hive Tyrant. Once per turn, a Tyranid unit within 12 can use a stratagem for 0 command points, even if another unit in your army has already been using that stratagem that phase. So that's going to be really useful, well, for multiple different stratagems, really. You've got, you know, rapid regeneration, adrenal surge for 2 command points. There's lots of different things that you can combo with that with other units. It's not so much useful for himself, but for other units it could be really good. Paroxysm is the other option here, well, the other ability. It's a psychic ability at the start of the fight phase. You select one enemy unit within 12, invisible. You roll a d6. On a 1, we suffer d3 mortal wounds. Not great. We're basically perils in there. On a 2+, then until the end of the phase, you subtract 1 from the attacks characteristics of all weapons equipped with models in that unit. Situational, yes, but it is a good debuff against melee units. If you're going up against Lich Guard with 2 attack War Scythes, you bring them down to 1 attack per War Scythe. Could be good. Going up against Terminators, going up against Custodies, Orc Boys, there's all sorts of units that would suffer from that paroxysm. So it has a use. Let's talk about the use, in fact. Battlefield role. What are we doing with our winged Hive Tyrant? First of all, it's going to be joining an attack. It's got the Deep Strike ability. It's not going to go in solo like I mentioned earlier because it will just get killed. It needs to come in sort of behind something. So once your Khan effects and One Eye's gone up there without Synapse of course, or once your Ravenous have gone in, or Gene Steals, whatever you're taking really, there's quite a few different things that you can be using to run up the battlefield. Horus effects, maybe the Screamer Killers, they're not as good as Horus effects, like we said in the previous video. But he's going to be joining that attack, he's going to be providing Synapse, providing that Will of the Hive Mind, which is one of the bullet points here, to give a free stratagem use to one of them units, and also Paroxysm to debuff enemy units. So effectively he's buffing our units and debuffing enemy units. For 195 points though, it's quite an expensive way to do that. He's also okay in terms of damage output, and I say okay, there are other units that just do a better job. There are some stratagems that you could use, not just on him, but on units nearby within 12 with Will of the Hive Mind, rapid regeneration of course for a 5+4 no pain save. They will be within Synapse because he will be right there, or no, maybe not necessarily, because Will of the Hive Mind is 12 inches and Synapse is 6 inches, so maybe not in fact. But the likelihood is you're going to use this within 6 to give them a 5+4 no pain save. You've also got Adrenal Surgery. This is the one I always look at because it's 2 command points, it's expensive. You're going to get critical hits on a 5+ rather than a 6+. That could be sustained hits 1, it could be your lethal hits, all from your Hive adaptations, which we've not really mentioned in this video because the damage output for the Winged Hive Tyrant isn't really what it's all about. You can opt to use one of the enhancements. Now, if you've got a Hive Tyrant or you've got Old One Eye, no, not Old One Eye, he's a epic hero, take that away. If you've got a Hive Tyrant or you've got a Brood Lord, for example, they're going to be taking one of the enhancements per model. You're going to get up to 3 in an army list. Maybe your Winged Hive Tyrant can take one as well. The likelihood is you've already used Adaptive Biology on Hive Tyrant. Maybe you've used Synaptic Linchpin on something else, that, you know, the Brood Lord again. So really, I'm looking at Alien Cunning to reposition your units, or Perfectly Adapted to be able to reroll and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think you need to do it because you've got to spend points to do this, so I don't think you would bother. But then I would actually ask the question, are you going to bother with a Winged Hive Tyrant in general? I personally wouldn't. I just think it's too expensive. So let's get on to the pros and cons to why I think it's too expensive, in fact. So the pros. You've got your free use of the stratagem with Will of the Hive Mind. You're going to be debuffing enemy units in melee, -1 to their attacks. Characteristics, you've got the 4+ invulnerable save, so a little bit of resiliency. Synapse, as well as weapon options. I've just put that there because you at least get to select what you're going to have. The Venom Cannon or the Strangleform Cannon. You've got the options there, or just go in full melee. As for the cons, not as scary due to the speed drop going down to only 12 inches and fly being absolutely smacked this edition. It now sucks. Other monsters have got a better damage output, definitely. Pretty much all of them have at this point. He's no longer super tough like the others. He's only toughness 9, not 10, not 11. So even strength 9 weapons, like what the Hive Tyrant in fact has, or the Winged Hive Tyrant has, he's got strength 9. So he could be taking out these kind of models. He can damage himself with a paroxysm, which isn't really the best thing to do. And he can't lead a unit of Tyrant Guard, which I know I previously said they were an auto-include for the Hive Tyrant, but looking at it more and more, due to the fact that they're going to lower the toughness of the Tyrant, it might not necessarily be the best. It would be okay for the Neuro Tyrant, because they are also toughness 8, but for the Hive Tyrant and the Swarm Lord, in fact, probably not as useful. But they've at least got the option, whereas the Winged Hive Tyrant does not have that option. So for the Planet 40k rating today, for the Winged Hive Tyrant, I'm not that impressed, to be honest with you. They've definitely got better options. The Hive Tyrant would definitely be taking the spot of this guy, the Swarm Lord as well. I mean, the normal Hive Tyrant has the same ability, the Will of the Hive Mind, which is the main reason to take him. The Swarm Lord has the other ability to be able to, you gain the CP. So what is this guy actually doing? What is he doing? The damage output isn't there. He's just buffing and debuffing, but for 195 points, that's too much. He needs to drop down about 50 to 60 points to be at least pickable. But for now, I don't think he's pickable. But there is some things you could do with him, I suppose. So for the rating today, I'm going to go with the Planet 40k rating of 2-star. So guys, put your rating down in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching. And as always, see you in the next one.